The gray skies of Earth's capital city matched the mood inside the United Nations Space Command headquarters. Director Kim sat alone in his office, watching the footage from New Eden for the 10th time. The images showed Vroth warships appearing above peaceful farms, then the flash of forbidden plasma weapons. Fields burned. Buildings collapsed. People ran screaming. Kim closed his eyes but couldn't block out the sounds of children crying for help. His assistant knocked softly. "Sir, the emergency council meeting is starting in 10 minutes. Kim nodded, straightening his uniform. He had served as Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Alliance for 15 years. He had believed in the system. Now he wasn't sure what to believe. "Has there been any response from the council about our formal protest?" Kim asked. "No, sir. Nothing." This wasn't surprising. When the Vroth had attacked the mining colony of Titan's Edge 2 months ago, the council had called it a border dispute. When they had destroyed the research station on Proxima B, the council suggested it was an unfortunate accident. Now, with New Eden's farms burning and millions dead, Kim expected more empty words. In the corridor, Admiral Choi fell into step beside him. Unlike Kim's diplomatic uniform, Choi wore the black and silver of Earth's Defense Force. Her face was hard. "I've just come from a meeting with the Defense Council," she said quietly. "We're activating Protocol Omega." Kim stopped walking. "The Shadow Fleet. That's classified beyond top secret. The Alliance doesn't even know we have those ships." "And they won't know until it's too late," Choi said. "We've been building in secret for 30 years, ever since we found those ancient weapons designs on Mars. If the Galactic Council won't protect us, we'll protect ourselves." They entered the transport that would take them to the council meeting. As Earth's blue atmosphere gave way to the blackness of space, Kim remembered his grandfather's words. "Humans are sheep until they're wolves. We follow the rules until someone threatens our children." The council chamber floated in space, a massive ring of gleaming metal with the emblem of 1,000 worlds. Inside, representatives from across the galaxy sat in rising tiers. At the center stood the 7 elders, the oldest and supposedly wisest beings in the Alliance. Elder Toll, a tall being with pale blue skin, called the meeting to order. "We have convened to discuss the unfortunate events in the Earth colony system." Unfortunate events. Kim couldn't keep the anger from his voice. The Vroth Empire used banned weapons on a farming colony. They targeted civilians. Children. A murmur ran through the chamber. Elder Toll raised a hand for silence. "The Council understands Earth's distress. However, we must consider the greater peace of the galaxy. The Vroth Empire controls key trade routes and energy resources." The Vroth ambassador, a reptilian being named Drex, smiled coldly. "My government regrets any civilian casualties. Perhaps if Earth didn't place military research facilities on their colonies, such mistakes wouldn't happen." "There were no military facilities on New Eden," Kim said. "It was a farming world. You targeted it to break our spirit." Elder Toll consulted with the other elders, then turned back to the chamber. "The Council proposes a solution. Earth will cede its outer colonies to create a buffer zone. The Vroth Empire will guarantee no further attacks on Earth's inner systems." Kim couldn't believe what he was hearing. "You want us to reward the murder of millions by giving away our colonies?" "We want peace," Elder Toll said. "Sometimes peace requires sacrifice." Kim noticed how Elder Toll wouldn't meet his eyes. He saw the small nod between Toll and the Vroth ambassador. In that moment, Kim understood. The council had been compromised. The rumors of Vroth bribes were true. "Earth will consider your proposal," Kim said carefully. As he left the chamber, Admiral Choi received a message on her secure communicator. She showed it to Kim. The Shadow Fleet was moving into position around key Vroth military installations. "How long before we're ready?" Kim asked. 48 hours, Choi replied. "Then we show the galaxy what happens when you target human children." Kim nodded. "The council thinks we're sheep. It's time they learned we're wolves." The Galactic Council chamber was silent as Admiral Park stepped up to the speaker's platform. The massive room, designed to impress with its soaring ceilings and ornate decorations from 1,000 worlds, now felt tense and cold. Representatives from hundreds of species watched the human with curious eyes. Park was not what many expected. At 63 years old, he was small for a human male, with silver hair cut short and a face marked by years of service. His uniform was simple black with only small silver rank markers. No medals, no decorations. He didn't need them. Elder Toll finished reading the Council's proposal with a satisfied smile. The terms were clear. Earth would surrender its outer colonies, pay safety taxes to the Vroth Empire, and reduce its fleet by 70%. In return, the Vroth promised not to attack Earth itself. "We have heard your terms," Park said, his voice quiet but carrying to every corner of the chamber. "Now hear ours." The Vroth ambassador, Drex, laughed loudly. "Humans don't make terms. You accept ours or face destruction." Park ignored him, looking instead at the council elders. "For a century, we have played by your rules. We showed restraint when you dismissed our concerns. We trusted your system of justice." He paused, letting his words sink in. Behind him, Director Kim stood with 10 other human representatives. Their faces were serious, their eyes hard. "Humanity has been deceived, but we have not been defeated. You believe you understand our capabilities because we've shown you what we wanted you to see." A murmur ran through the chamber. Park reached into his pocket and pulled out a small silver cube. He placed it carefully on the podium in front of him. "This contains classified files on Earth's true military strength." The cube projected a hologram showing ships unlike any the Council had seen before. Black vessels with no visible engines or weapons, yet the specifications scrolling beside them showed speeds and firepower that seemed impossible. "What trick is this?" Drex demanded. "These ships don't exist. Our spies would have seen them." Park smiled slightly. "When humans joined the Alliance, we shared some technology. Not all. We kept our best advances hidden." The hologram shifted to show manufacturing facilities inside gas giants and asteroids, invisible to standard scans. It showed weapons that could disable ships without destroying them, defense systems that could absorb energy attacks, and communication devices that worked instantly across any distance. "We built in secret because we suspected this day might come," Park continued. "The Vroth have 48 hours to withdraw from all human territories and surrender those responsible for the attacks." Elder Toll stood up, his blue skin flushed dark with anger. "You dare threaten the Council? The Vroth Empire is our valued ally." "How much did they pay you?" Park asked quietly. The chamber went completely silent. "We have proof of bribes to 17 council members, including you, Elder Toll." The human delegation activated their tablets, sending evidence directly to every representative in the room. Bank transfers, secret meetings, recorded conversations. The proof was overwhelming. "This is outrageous," Drex shouted, standing up. "The mighty Vroth Empire does not bribe. We conquer." "Yes," Park said. "You attacked our colonies, killed our children, and your friends in the Council were going to help you take even more." He looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of representatives from smaller worlds, worlds that might one day face the same threat. "This is not just about humanity. It's about justice. It's about whether the Galactic Alliance stands for anything real, or whether it's just a tool for the powerful to use against the weak." Park stepped back from the podium, the hologram still showing Earth's hidden fleet. 48 hours, he repeated. "That's how long the Vroth have to withdraw and surrender the guilty. That's how long the Council has to remove the corrupt members and acknowledge its failure." As Park turned to leave, Elder Toll called out, "And if we refuse?" Park stopped and looked back. "Then we will show you what humanity is truly capable of when pushed too far. We came to you as friends and partners. You treated us as prey. You're about to learn the difference between sheep and wolves." The The human delegation left the chamber in perfect formation. Behind them, the council erupted into chaos as representatives demanded answers from the suddenly nervous elders. Emperor Kraz of the Vroth Empire stood in his war room, surrounded by his top generals. His scaled skin gleamed under the red lights as he watched Admiral Park's message for the third time. The human's calm voice and simple demands made Kraz laugh. "Humans are such strange creatures," Kraz said, his forked tongue flicking between sharp teeth. "So soft, so weak, yet they threaten us." General Mord, Kraz's most trusted advisor, looked troubled. "Emperor, perhaps we should consider their terms. Those ships in their message are fake." Kraz slammed his fist on the table. "Our spies have monitored Earth for decades. These shadow ships don't exist. Humans are trying to trick us." The Emperor walked to the large window overlooking his capital city. Millions of Vroth lived in tall buildings that reached toward the sky. His people believed themselves the rightful rulers of the galaxy. The conquest of human colonies was just the beginning. "Send more ships to their colony on Titan's Edge," Kraz ordered. "When their deadline expires, we will show them true power." On Earth, Admiral Park and Director Kim stood in the hidden command center deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. Around them, operators monitored screens showing Vroth fleet movements. "They're sending more ships," Kim noted. "They think we're bluffing." Park nodded. "Just as we expected. Are our forces in position?" "Yes," replied Commander Lee, the head of Special Operations. "Shadow Fleet vessels are in place near all major Vroth military installations. Quantum communication networks are green. The time field generators are charged and ready." Park checked his watch. 5 minutes until the deadline expires. Commence Operation Revelation. Throughout human space, hidden doors in asteroids slid open. Inside gas giants, massive ships rose from their hiding places. On Earth, in underground bunkers and secret mountain bases, controllers activated systems that had never been used in combat. At exactly 48 hours after Park's ultimatum, Vroth sensors detected nothing unusual. Emperor Kraz was preparing his victory speech when the reports started coming in. "Emperor," a communication officer burst into the war room. "We've lost contact with our fleet at Titan's Edge." Before Kraz could respond, another officer ran in. "Our defense station near Proxima has stopped responding." Then another. "The shipyards at Vroth Prime are under attack." On the main screen, images appeared showing Vroth warships floating motionless in space. Around them, black ships appeared seemingly from nowhere. These shadow vessels moved with impossible speed, firing weapons that left no debris, just disabled Vroth ships. "What is happening?" Kraz demanded. "How are they attacking everywhere at once?" In orbit above the Vroth homeworld, Commander Lee sat on the bridge of the shadow ship Eternal Night. Unlike the bulky, aggressive designs of Vroth vessels, human shadow ships were sleek and quiet, designed to absorb rather than reflect sensors. "Quantum entanglement network is functioning perfectly," Lee's communications officer reported. "All strike teams are coordinated to the millisecond." On the main view screen, Lee watched as the Vroth defense fleet tried to respond. Their ships moved strangely slow, as if pushing through thick liquid. "Time field generators at full power," the science officer reported. "The Vroth are experiencing time at 1/10 our rate." This was humanity's greatest secret, not faster ships or bigger weapons, but the ability to manipulate the flow of time in small areas. Human scientists had discovered the technology in ancient ruins on Mars. For 50 years, they had refined it, waiting for the day they might need it. In his palace, Emperor Kraz watched helplessly as black ships appeared around his world. His mighty fleet, the pride of the Vroth Empire, hung uselessly in space. When he tried to order his ground defenses to fire, nothing happened. "Their weapons have penetrated our systems," General Mord reported, his voice shaking. "They've taken control of our defense grid, our communication networks, even our power systems." The screen in the war room flickered, and Admiral Park's face appeared. "Emperor Kraz, Park said calmly. You were warned. Humanity gave you a chance for peace. You chose war. How? Kraz demanded. How have you done this? We showed the galaxy what we wanted them to see, Park replied. A peaceful race of traitors and diplomats. All while we prepared for betrayal. Outside the palace windows, the lights of the Vronth capital city began to go out, sector by sector. Your military capabilities have been neutralized, Park continued. Your ships disabled. Your weapons controlled by our systems. Park's expression remained calm, but his eyes were hard. Humanity does not seek to destroy the Vronth people, but your empire is finished. Your war is over. The screen went dark, leaving Emperor Kraz staring at his reflection. For the first time in his long life, the Emperor felt fear. Civilians on Vronth Prime watched in confusion as their cities remained untouched while military bases went dark. No bombs fell on homes. No civilians were harmed. The human Shadow Fleet targeted only military assets with surgical precision. On the third day of Operation Justice, Commander Li led a small team into the Imperial Palace. Emperor Kraz was found not in his throne room, but hiding in a secret bunker deep beneath the palace grounds. When human soldiers opened the heavy door, the mighty Emperor cowered in the corner. Emperor Kraz, you are under arrest for war crimes against human colonies, Commander Li said, her voice calm and professional. You will stand trial before an intergalactic court. You can't do this, Kraz hissed, his scaled skin pale with fear. I am the Emperor. Not anymore, Li replied. She nodded to her soldiers, who placed restraints on the Emperor's wrists. Your empire is finished. Across Vronth territory, similar scenes played out. Military leaders were arrested. Government officials who had ordered attacks on civilians were taken into custody. But ordinary Vronth citizens found themselves treated with unexpected kindness. Human ships delivered food and medical supplies to worlds where the sudden collapse of the Empire had disrupted normal services. 3 days after the operation began, Admiral Park prepared to address the Galactic Council again. The chamber was packed with representatives from every world. News of humanity's swift victory over the supposedly invincible Vronth had spread throughout the galaxy. Director Kim stood beside Park as they entered. The council is nervous, Kim whispered. Several members didn't show up today. The guilty ones, Park replied. They know what's coming. Elder Toll looked much less confident than during their last meeting. His blue skin had a grayish tint, and his hands trembled slightly as he called the session to order. The council recognizes Admiral Park of Earth, Toll said, his voice strained. Park stepped forward. The room fell completely silent. 3 days ago, I gave the Vronth Empire, and this council, an ultimatum. The Vronth chose to ignore our warning. Now their military capability has been dismantled. Emperor Kraz is in custody, along with those who ordered attacks on our colonies. Park paused, looking around the chamber. Many representatives couldn't meet his eyes. But the Vronth are not the only ones who must answer for their crimes. He activated a small device, and holographic images appeared above the chamber floor. They showed financial records, secret meetings, private messages. We've accessed financial records showing bribes paid to 17 council members. We've traced weapons transfers that violated your own laws. Gasps echoed through the chamber. On the screens, representatives could see their own colleagues accepting payments from Vronth agents. Elder Toll stood up. This is an outrage. You cannot. Cannot what? Park interrupted. Cannot show evidence of corruption. Cannot expose how you took money to look the other way while millions of humans died. Park pressed another button, and a new hologram appeared. It showed Elder Toll in a private room, accepting a case of rare crystals from a Vronth diplomat. The audio was clear. The Council will take no action against your operations in human space. I will personally ensure it. Toll's mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. Several representatives stood up and moved away from him, physically distancing themselves from the corruption. This council was created to maintain peace and justice throughout the galaxy, Park continued. Instead, it became a tool for the powerful to oppress the weak. That ends today. Human security forces entered the chamber. They moved calmly, professionally, arresting the 17 council members shown in the evidence. These individuals will stand trial alongside the HFY War criminals, Park announced. The evidence has been shared with all member worlds. There will be no secret deals, no hidden agreements. As Elder Toll was led away, a representative from a small world stood up. What happens now? Without the council elders. The council will be reformed, Park replied, with new safeguards against corruption, with real consequences for those who abuse power. He looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of representatives from worlds large and small. Humanity did not want this role. We came to the stars hoping for partnership, not leadership. But when justice failed, we had to act. Park's voice softened slightly. We do not seek to rule. We seek to rebuild. Together, we can create a galactic alliance that truly protects all its members, not just the strongest or richest. As he stepped back from the podium, something unexpected happened. Representatives began to stand, one by one, then in groups until the entire chamber was on its feet. There was no applause. The moment was too solemn for that. But there was respect in their eyes, and perhaps something else. Hope. The new council chamber was different from the old one. Gone were the high, imposing walls and the raised platform that had separated the elders from everyone else. The new chamber was circular, with all seats at the same level. Sunlight streamed in through clear windows that showed the stars beyond. Director Lee straightened her simple blue robe as she prepared to address the council for the first time as elder. 6 months had passed since humanity had revealed its true power. 6 months of trials, negotiations, and rebuilding. You look nervous, Admiral Park said, standing beside her. He had refused the position of elder, preferring to return to his military duties. I am, Lee admitted. It's easier to win a war than to build a peace. Around them, representatives from 1,000 worlds took their seats. Many faces were familiar, but many were new. Worlds that had been too small or poor to have a voice in the old council. At exactly noon, Lee stepped to the center of the chamber. The soft conversations died away. 6 months ago, humanity revealed capabilities that shocked the galaxy. Lee began. We did so because we were attacked, because our people were killed, and because this council failed to provide justice. She looked around the room, meeting the eyes of various representatives. Some have asked why humans hid their true strength for so long. The answer is simple. We hoped never to need it. Humanity's response was not born of cruelty, but of necessity. We revealed our strength not to dominate, but to transform. The old council failed because it lacked transparency and accountability. On the large screen behind her, images appeared showing the changes of the past 6 months. Former HFY colonies, now independent. Worlds that had been conquered, now free again. The trial of Emperor Kraz, who had been sentenced not to death, but to work rebuilding the worlds he had damaged. The HFY people themselves were not our enemy, Lee continued. They too were victims of their leader's aggression. Today, representatives from the new HFY Republic join us as equals, not conquerors. A slender HFY female nodded from her seat. She had led the resistance against Emperor Kraz for years before humans had arrived. Today we sign the new Galactic Charter, Lee said. Its first principle is simple. An attack on one member world is an attack on all. The charter appeared on screens throughout the chamber. Unlike the old one, which had filled thousands of pages with complex legal language, the new charter was clear and direct. We establish an open intelligence sharing protocol, Lee explained. No longer will some worlds have information that others lack. No longer will secrets be used as weapons. She touched a control, and the next article appeared. We establish a mutual defense pact. No species will stand alone again. Around the chamber, representatives nodded. Many came from worlds that had suffered because they were too small to defend themselves. Finally, we establish complete transparency in council operations. All meetings will be public. All decisions will be explained. All financial transactions will be open to review. Lee stepped back from the controls and looked around the chamber. Some have asked if Earth seeks to rule the galaxy now. The answer is no. We seek to be partners, not masters. But make no mistake. Her voice grew firm. Humanity will never again allow our people to be targeted while supposed allies look away. We value peace, but we will meet betrayal with overwhelming force if necessary. She let those words sink in, then smiled. But today is not about warnings. It is about a new beginning. Each world here has suffered at some point in its history. Each has known fear. Together, we can build something better than the sum of our parts. As Lee finished speaking, something unexpected happened. From the back of the chamber, a small child walked forward. She was from New Eden, one of the human colonies that had been attacked. Her parents had been killed, but she had survived. The girl carried a simple plant in a pot of earth. She walked to the center of the chamber and placed it on a small table. On behalf of New Eden, the girl said in a clear voice, "I bring new life. May it grow with the peace we plant today." One by one, representatives came forward, adding small tokens from their worlds: a crystal from the Vroth Republic, a feather from the avian chiropt, a small vial of water from the aquatic Narration. As Lee watched, she felt something she hadn't expected: hope, not just for humanity, but for all the gathered worlds. That night, as the new council elders shared a meal, Admiral Park raised a glass. "To peace," he said simply. "To peace," Lee agreed, "but also to vigilance." Around the table, the other elders nodded, understanding the message that now echoed throughout the galaxy. Humanity valued peace, but would meet betrayal with overwhelming force. It was a lesson the galaxy would not soon forget. The end.